नमस्सर्वेभ्यः शुभमध्याह्नः। सुभाषितम् इत्यस्मिन् पञ्चमे भागे प्रथमपाठस्य पञ्चमे भागे स्मः। प्रथमसुभाषितं तु प्रातःकाले एव पठितम् अस्माभिः। आशाया ये दासास्ते दासाः सर्वलोकस्य आशा येषां दासी तेषां दासायते लोकः। इदानीं द्वितीयम् अस्ति सुभाषितमेवं। साधूनां दर्शनं पुण्यं तीर्थभूता हि साधवः तीर्थं फलति कालेन सद्यः साधु समागमः. साधूनां of the sadhus darshanam, their appearance to us or our visit to them or seeing them, punyam brings merit. Tirthabhuta hi sadhavah, sadhus, sadhavah, bahuvachana of sadhu. So sadhus are tirthabhutas. They are the manifestation of holy places. Okay, tirtha is the holy place of Hindus, right? So basically, because they are usually river heads, the word tirtha has come to be. Okay, so it need not be always just a river. It can be even a temple, or in this case, a person also. Tirtha bhutahi sadavaha. So noble people, sadhus, are uh, like holy visitable places, manifestation of holy places. Tirtham palati khalena. Tirtham. Here the karma padatva of tirtham means the visit to a tirtha kshetra. In that sense, they have given. Okay. Tirtham phalati kalena. Because some of these pious places are far off from our hometowns, like Kashi Yatra, etc., or even going up to see Shiva's abode, which is all the way now in China, Kailasa, is not easy. Tirtham phalati kalena. Only over time, perhaps it will fructify for us the access to a tirtha or our visit to a tirtha. Sadhyaha sadhu samagamaha. Whereas meeting noble people, if you are keeping your eyes open, they are everywhere. So meeting them could happen instantly, quite immediately. So what it is advising us is that don't just think that you will collect merit points by visiting certain far off holy places. That may be, but please recognize that good noble people are also akin to holy places, and meeting them, paying our respects to them, or even sitting with them and listening to the wisdom, advice, samagama includes all that, could be obtained quite quickly. So don't wait for this Tirtha Yatra. Very nice. Sadhunam darshanam punyam tirthabhutahi sadavaha tirtham palati kalena sadyah sadhu samagamaha. So here there are 4 parts. Okay. So there may not be an explicit kriya pada, but we should be able to put it. For example, sadhunam darshanam punyam bhavati. Darshanam is the karta of the vakya. Punyam bhavati. Punyam is the karma. So punyam bhavati. Or actually punyam actually. Let me withdraw that. So seeing it's a vidheka vidheya bhavaha. Okay. Punyam bhavati. So it will become pious. Okay. So the karta is punyam. What becomes punyam? Sadhunam darshanam punyam. Vidheya vidheka bhava. Okay. So it's in that sense. So seeing the sadhus is like punya. As full stop. The next part is why is explained. Kimartham iti prashnah asti chet sadhavah tirthabhutahi iti tatha. Because sadhus are like tirthabhutas, it is so. Okay, so there is a separate sentence. Okay. Then another sentence, because another prathama vibhakti word is there, tirtham. Tirtham kalena phalati. Here there is a kriya pada for this third leg, full stop. Tirtham kalena phalati. Phalati means it fructifies. It's a vartamana kala Pratama Purusha Ekavachana of that dhatu, phal dhatu. So phalati. So kalena tirtham palati or tirtham kalena palati, over time. So with time. So there is a instrumentality of time. So with time, the visit to the tirtha. Tirtham should be taken as visit to the tirtha, phalati. So karta of the vakya is tirtham, kriya is phalati, kalena is the karanakaraka. Tirtham kalena phalati. But full stop. Sadhu samagamaha tu sadyah bhavitum shakyate. Bhavet. Something like that we have to add. Perhaps it will happen instantly. So sadhu samagamaha tu, I have to add tu means in comparison to that. Tirtham. Okay. Sadyah bhavishyati. Sadyah bhavati. Like that we can add. Or bhavet if you want to put expectation to that. Okay. So there are 4 sentences mentally. I am talking about things that are not there here because so that we can understand that aspect. So sadhunam darshanam punyam bhavati. Full stop. Sadhavah tirthabhutahi kila. I mean, aren't they? Like that. Full stop. Then Tirtham kalena phalati. Third sentence. Sadhu samagamaha sadyah bhavishyati or bhavati. Like, okay. So that's how we should break it down mentally. So even if in mother tongues we say like that, no? साधुओं का दर्शन पुण्य है बोलते हैं हम लोग, है नहीं है इधर, बस साधुओं का दर्शन पुण्य, साधुओं ने तीर्थभूत लोग है, तो है ऐड.
पुण्य समान है.
So like this we go. Punya saman. So even in Indian languages, sometimes of course Hindi goes hai, but in Dakshina Bharata we stop like this. Sadhugala darshanavu punya. Finish. Punyavu agide, aguttade, something like that. We don't go on. It's obvious. So we stop. Similar to Samskritam. So like that we go. Okay, so we have to recognize how to recognize sentence breaks by looking at, for example, darshanam, punyam, darshanam, they are associated. So there is a pratama vibhakti shabda. This is a of the sadhu, shashti vibhakti. So that part. But if you see another sadhavaha bahuvachana karta is there, pratama vibhakti. So this cannot sit with that. So we have to break off here. So this darshanam punyam has to separate out as a karta for a different vakya than sadhavaha. Okay, so that's how we recognize. Also, because they're in different padas, kavis also don't try to overdo the intermixture. For example, here they may make certain order, but they don't put something too far off if they can avoid it. So they keep localization. So we using that also we do the sentence identification. So here, what are the sandhis? If you see sadhu nam, there is a anuswara bindu. If you see on top, here there is a halanta makara. So like I told you, the original sounds, this halanta makara is the native. Then due to sandhi influence, the anuswara bindu takes place. This is called anuswara sandhi. Okay, this anuswara sandhi, when it is activated, is when the first letter of the next word, okay, is a vowel, is a consonant. Dakara is a consonant. When it's a consonant, then we have to use vowel here, which is the anuswara vowel, to replace the halanta makara. If instead, there is no example staring at us in the screen here, but instead, if sadhu nam agamanam, something like that is there, instead of darshanam, let us say agamanam. Agamanam, akara is a swara. So in that case, we don't put bindu, we put a halanta makara only. Because we interleave, if you see Sanskrit aksharas, it is an interleave of vyanjanas and swaras. Okay. Sakara, akara, dhakara, ukara, nakara, akara, additionally a enhanced akara, amkara. Okay. Like that it goes. So then dakara, akara, the shakara, repa is there before. So repa plus shakara plus akara. So one single syllable of Sanskritam is multiple consonants potentially starting with 0, maybe up to 3, sometimes maybe rarely 4. Okay, and followed by a swara, unless it's the last letter with a halant. Okay, for example, sadhunam is a halanta pada. So there is a halanta makara. In this case, this is the full letter. Okay, the consonant itself is the full letter. Only occurs in the end of words, this halanta. Okay, everywhere else swara interleave exists. And especially even in a sentence, we carry on with that sense of swara, vyanjana, interleave. That's where anunasika sandhi comes into picture, because makara, halanta makara is a vyanjana akshara, whereas anuswara bindu is a swara enhancer. It is a considered, that's why it's called anuswara. So it is a it accents a swara. A becomes am. Okay, so sadhunam darshanam, again same sandhi, punyam same sandhi at play, because pakara is a vyanjana, takara is a vyanjana. Tirtha bhuta ha, so visarga lopa, tirtha bhuta ha hi, so plural tirtha bhuta ha sadavaha. Okay, tirtha bhuta ha he is an avyaya indeed. Hmm? Definitely, indeed, are like that. Okay, so sadavaha tirthabhutaha hi kila asanti, something like kila is a prashnarthaka closure. If you want to give absolute closure, santi, like that you have to say. Okay, so then tirtham, again halanta makara replaced with anuswara. Tirtham, here they would have written, see, halanta makara. Phalati, same. Kalena, same. Sadyah, same. Sadhu samagamaha. There is a samasta pada. Sadhunam samagamaha. Sadhu samagamaha. Some plus agamaha, samagama. There is some internal construction compounds. We will not worry too much about that. So something. Hmm. So here the Patipadartha is given, nothing new, we already understood. Okay, so you guys can read it slowly. Again, unfortunately, they have aided the English order, but I have read out the Sanskrit order is very straightforward. Almost pada by pada, it is straightforward. Sadhunam darshanam punyam bhavati. Sadavaha tirtha bhutaha hi santi. You can add if you want. Tirtham kalena phalati. परंतु कनेक्टर परंतु साधु समागमः सद्यः भवति भविष्यति लाइक दैट ओके imminently, so you can use bhavishyat kala bhavishyati or vartamana kala bhavati, no problem. Tatparyam usually is interesting because see how they expand on the base is interesting to read here, so that we learn to go with similar color. We may not want to use the same words, our own words, but what is the enhancement in Tatparyam we will see, because this is literal meaning, whereas this is the Tatparya or the essential meaning. Essence. People go on a pilgrimage for it is considered holy. Okay, see background. There is a background to establish what is this Tirtha word explanation, that's pilgrimage, right? People go on a pilgrimage for it is considered holy. This is true for not just for Hinduism, it's true for all the religions, right? As you know. Meeting pious men is as meritorious as visiting pilgrim centers. That is the sadhunam darshanam punyam tirthabhutahi sadavaha. In that combination sense, that sentence is brought out. People, perhaps even more, this is a little bit rhetoric, perhaps even more. Okay. Because, why even more? Because that's connector here. They have got. Fruit of visiting holy places is got after a long time. Maybe in the next birth also. Hindus, we believe in more than one birth. So we say, okay, punarjanma yada bhavishyati tada gamishyami chinta mastu. We don't worry about it. Saying, okay, it will happen in the next birth, fine. But the very sight of pious men cleanses men of all sins and brings merit at once. Okay, they are being very rhetoric, very sight. I would go beyond that. Just looking at someone is just a figure of speech. Obviously, listening to their wise words and be in their satsanga would bring definitely merit. Okay, merit in afterlife may be another thing, but it will bring merit in this life for sure also. Okay, but you have to identify your sadhus carefully, that's all. Sadhunam darshanam punyam tirthabhuta hi sadavaha tirtham phalati kalena sadyah sadhu samagamaha. So tirthabhutaha visarga lopa, and some anuswara sandhi is there everywhere, but we don't specifically sometimes highlight it, but it is there. Okay. So in 1, 2, 3, 4 places, Anuswara Sandhi is at play. Every time due to Vyanjana presence in the next word. Everything else is straightforward there. Any questions? Okay. No, everybody is happy, I think. So let's move forward. Now I am slightly deviating from the normal textbook syllabus because now we have started looking at sentences, right? We are started looking at sentences. We have started looking at words. So this one is a little bit out of syllabus, little bit trying to lift you to certain higher level, to look at Sanskritam in a mathematical way, mathematical because of paths and points. This is like a flowchart, right, in software that we do. So a little bit of that kind of view, but it is important, and this will actually very nicely present to you an overview of what Sanskrit is about. Okay, so there is a saying in Sanskritam called Sarvam Dhatujam. And then there is a second part which is less interesting, like Sarvam Dhatujam Aha Shakatayanasya Tokam, something like that. So the son of Shakatayana said everything is born from dhatus. Shakatayana was an ancient grammarian, and in the Panini's book, Panini's work also quotes him in many places, his name. So he's a precursor to Panini. So we're talking 3000 plus years or more. So Shakatayanas told, it is the folklore, that everything in Sanskritam is born from dhatus, like that. Okay, it's 99 point percent true. Okay, so dhatu is the starting point. So what is dhatu? Dhatu, as you know, in Indian languages, it means the core metallic element is called a dhatu. An iron ore is a dhatu. So okay, so or the pure metal iron element is a dhatu. And these metallic elements are very critical for us, right? Because structure is built around them. So that's why the name dhatu is very appropriate. So dhatu is actually the root of the verb. The root of the verb is, the name in Sanskritam is dhatu. Okay. So the root, word root we use for it. Okay. Everything born from there. So from these dhatu, so you can see it at two places in the chart, just to show a flow they have shown. This and these are same really, dhatu. From the dhatu, starting from the dhatu, you can get a kriyapada if you add something called ting ending. So ting ending. Ting is actually a technical title. It's a list of endings called kriyapada endings, and the technical title for that whole list is ting. So we nominate the whole list of 18 pratyayas. There are 18 pratyayas, 9 plus 9. They are called ting pratyayas because the first pratyaya starts with the ti and the last pratyaya ends with nga. So ting. Very simple. Panini was a brilliant software engineer. He called the set by the first and the last letter. Finish. Sometimes he adds more technical letters, but here he didn't need. So he just first and last letter of the set of sounds, 18 sounds, he calls it ting. And pratyaya, because what is this pratyaya is also meaningful. Pratiyati. So it takes the meaning towards. So these tails take the meaning of the dhatu towards something. So that's because they take the meaning towards something. It's called pratyaya, or a suffix, you can say. Suffix is less meaningful than pratyaya, that which takes the meaning towards. Okay. And after you attach that ting pratyaya to the dhatu, there are some more things that happen along the way. There is some gana, vikarana pratyaya. We'll go into that slowly. Okay. Then you get a kriyapada, tingantam, we call it. In technical world, we call it tingantam, which means simply that which ends with a ting tail, that which ends with a ting pratyaya. And that has a title called pada. So that can now belong in a sentence. Okay. So for example, karoti, right? Somebody does something. Karoti. So that's a kriyapada. Kr is the dhatu. Kr is the metallic element. Karoti is the that member of the sentence frame where it's an action denoting. You can call it as a metal rod or something like that. iron rod out of it. Okay, karoti. So the same dhatu, you can add one of 100 plus krit pratyayas. Okay, there are, like I said, there are 18 ting pratyayas. There are 100 plus krit pratyayas, 110 plus. I don't even exactly know. It's a very big list. But anyway, 110 plus krit pratyayas, which generates from kr something called a pratipadikam, which is the noun stem. Here, instead of root, we use the technical title stem in English, or noun stem. Instead of verb root, we go to noun stem. This noun stem is called pratipadikam. Okay, that which is the base of the pada. So pratipadikam, that which is going to generate a subanta pada later. That's all. So this pratipadikam, for example, in this case from kru dhatu, using some trich pratyaya, something like that, kartru comes. Okay, this kartru pratipadika, if you attach something called supratyaya, just like we added ting pratyaya over there to dhatu, to the pratipadika, if you attach a sup pratyaya, you get a padam which is a noun, subanta. So what are these supratyayas? This is the vibhakti pratyaya. 7 by 3, 21 pratyayas. Okay, 7 by 3, 21 pratyayas at the base level. Then the pratyayas undergo modification based on prakriya, but the base set is 21. Again, the sup title by Panini has simply called it sup because it starts with su and ends with halantap, sup. Finished. Okay, very, very concise list. So supratyaya, subantam. So sup antam, subantam, that which ends with sup. Again, that also has a pada title. So the sentence can have tinganta and subantas in collection to make a sentence. This what visual you are seeing is for word level. But if you combine words in a congruent, cognizable way, you get a sentence. And then if you string together sentences in meaningful way, you get a paragraph, etc., etc. That we know. But here the idea is, what is a Shuddha pada? What is a Shuddha pada? So Panini's entire prakriya is to demonstrate this flowchart and write the rules for these transformations. Okay? So from dhatu we go to pratipadika to subanta and generate a nama pada. So from kartru we get karta, pratama vibhakti, ekavachana, pullinga rupa karta. So karta karoti, the doer does. The basic meaning of karta karoti is the doer does something, some job. So here karta can be replaced with ramaha, karoti can, so ramaha karoti. In this case, again there is a genesis for how Rama got generated from Ram Dhatu. I have not shown all that here. So you could write the flowchart for Ram Dhatu, which generates Ramate if you add the same tinganta, the first tinganta, Ramate. But the Ram Dhatu can become Rama, Rama can become Ramaha. So Ramaha karoti. So there is, it's illegal to say Rama karoti. Pratipadika is illegal to be used in a sentence. Dhatu is illegal to be used in a sentence. We have to use this green stuff, padas. And then again, it has to be congruent. You cannot have Ramaha Sita karoti. Ramaha is a legal noun. Sita is a legal noun. Kriya pada legal is karoti. Can you say Ramaha Sita karoti? Meaningless. The confusion is, it's simply you're saying Rama Sita does. What is Rama Sita does? So Rama and Sita do something together. Maybe there is a meaningful sentence. Then you have to go Ramaha Sita cha kurutaha. You have to go dvivachana because there are two kartas. Okay, dvivachana. Ramaha Sita cha kurutaha. So why? Because the thing pratyaya, we use the second one for this dvivachana. So we have to go to that suffix, then it will become kurutaha. The prakriya will change to kurutaha. Karoti, kurutaha, kurvanti. It's a tough dhatu, kuru dhatu. It is also ubhayapadi. You can also make kurute, kurvate, kurvate, something like that. Okay. It is a complex dhatu, but it will not go that far. So you see the magic. So you can generate like this. And that is not all. You can take the pratipadika, apply a stri pratyaya and generate a stri pratipadika. So kartru becomes kartri in strilinga. Kartri with this sup pratyaya, same sup, first sup pratyaya, will get If it is, I see here it is kartrim, so it's Dvitiya Vibhakti has been applied. So the fourth one has been applied, Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachana. So kartrim, so kartaram. If the Dvitiya Vibhakti applied here, this would have been kartaram. So what Supratyaya applies, what we need. It is not like we sit and apply everything and generate a big table and pick. No, what we want, we can feed. What we want for the sentence, that soup we can add and generate. So the engine that can generate pure words is the Paninian Ashtadhyayi engine for Sanskrit. Okay. We still need our Viveka at sentence level to. There are actually grammar documents talking about sentence level grammar and all that thing also. There is also one more beautiful Laukika Kathana of Samskrita Vyakarana called Ekating Vakyam. Just like I said earlier, Sarvam Dhatujam, and then rest we can forget. Another famous phrase is Ekating Vakyam. When there is one thing, that is when it is a sentence. So this is a brilliant recognition, brilliant coinage. Okay. So for example, in English, have you ever heard them define in grammar what is a sentence? You know, Sanskrit defines it. An action word makes a sentence is the Sanskrit definition. Such a brilliant thought process of language by our ancients. An action word makes a sentence. This is 100% true. For example, you take any, take a Sanskrit sentence only. The first thing is the action, karoti. Then you can say who does, Ramaha karoti, what he does, why he does, where he does, all those things come later. Does is the important thing. Centrality is around the verb. That was recognized very quickly. So, ekating vakyam, like that. And another important thing in this ekating vakyam is eka shabda. Why eka? Because there can only be one thing ending word in a sentence. If you have two thing endings, there are two sentences. If there are three sentences. In fact, if there are zero thing, also there can be a sentence. That is because we obviously see the missing thing. This is called adhyaharana. We infer the missing kriyapada. But there is a kriyapada. It's explicitly mentioned or it is implicitly hiding. Okay, that's all you can conclude from this. Ekating vakyam. Okay, so now we saw this path, we saw Stri Pratyaya, we saw this path. Now you see here, you can take a dhatu, apply a san pratyaya, san adi. San adi means sun and etc. pratyayas. See, this one is named slightly different. It's not like a list naming, it is with the first one and etc. This is another technical way in which they name lists in Sanskritam. Okay, so there is a list of pratyayas called san and other things. That whole list is titled as sanadi, sun etc. pratyayas. Adi means beginning with sun. Okay, once something begins with something, it has more elements, so that's why it said etc. Okay, so using one of those pratyayas, you can generate a new dhatu. Okay, so kr can generate chikirsha dhatu. What is the difference between kr dhatu and this is san pratyaya? There are other pratyayas, but this is using san pratyaya. So kr and chikirsha, the difference is kr is simply meaning to do. And chikirsha, the meaning is the desire to do. See how beautiful. Okay, do and then does. Desire to do, somebody desires to do. Chikirshate. I desire to do. Chikirshe, something like that will come. Some other form will come. But anyway, so this chikirsha goes back as a new dhatu. Ting pratyaya it takes and makes the 3 by 3 table or 2 into 3 by 3 table, depending on Atmanepadi, Parasmaipadi, all those things. We'll come to all that. Okay. So this is another technology of Sanskritam. See, you can convert a dhatu into some qualified dhatu. Desire to do, maybe there are other things, but at this basic level, they have taught the most popular one, desire to do version of it. Okay. And then you come here. You can take a subanta, apply a sanadi pratyaya, same sanadi pratyaya, some other pratyayas that are correct for this need, okay, and generate a new dhatu. See, Vasudeviya, okay, similar to what we saw in the earlier verse, right? So, oh, sorry, Vasudeviya. I was also making the mistake. If you remember, I confused. So actually, it is Vasudeviya, not Vasudeviya. Vasudevi, only in the ending, the variation. So, Vasudevaha yata karoti tatha Vasudeviya. Because we are so used to saying Vasudeva, Vasudeva, my mouth scuttled. Vasudeva is the father. So, Vasudeviya. So, to do like Vasudeva is the meaning of this Vasu. So, that can be taken and then you can get Vasudeviyate, something like that. There are rules. Huh? So Atmanepadi should be applied if for this kind of dhatus, etc. Rules are there. Anyway, that means not all 18 are allowed. Certain 9 is allowed. See, these 18 thing pratyayas are 9 plus 9 based on quality of the dhatu. Which 9 we have to use the dhatu sense to choose. Some of them can take all 18 because they are ubayapadi, we call it. Kru dhatu, for example, is a ubayapadi dhatu. So it can take all 18 pratyayas. So it has double forms. Then you see this Pratipadika again from here, instead of Subanta becoming a Pratipadika can also take a Dhatu and go. That means it need not be from a Subanta. So the differentiation is a little weak coming from Pratipadika or coming from Subanta. It's only technical experts can tell where it's coming from. For us, all we need to say is you can apply a Sanadi Pratyaya to a Namapada. That's all we can conclude. Whether it's a Pratipadika or a Subanta, it's a Namapada. This one is before Namapada, this is after its Namapada, but Sunadi can be applied. And so you can go from Stri Pratipadika, Pullinga Pratipadika, and go back and go. That doesn't mean you can go infinitely in these loops. Okay, don't think you can do something. No, engine has the pathways. Rudi Bala means you use it for one traverse or something like that. Okay. So you cannot go chikirsha and then again say, let me add san pratyaya and make it chichikirsha. What is chikirsha? Maybe meaningless. The desire to do. It may be technically possible to say that, but it's kind of meaningless after a while, right? Same way, common sense has to be used. But you can say chichikirsha, maybe the sense of the desire to do. What it means, you guys can figure out. So I have borrowed this chart from our Guruvarya, Bengaluru Nagarasya Veda Vijnana Gurukulasya Mahapracharyena Tilakarava Mahodayena Bodhitamshat Svikritam Kritagnaha Smaha. Thanking him. I didn't explicitly disturb saying I'm showing this. He will be very happy that I'm using and teaching others with it. So it's fine. His permission is always there. In Samskrita Vangmaya, there are no secrets. There are no copyrights.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
can you please post this chart on the this
Yes,
thing?
I will post the image of this chart on our WhatsApp group.
Sure,
I'll
sir.
do that. I'll do that.
Excuse me, sir.
Madam.
So there are Sanadi Pratyayas also, there are many in number.
Yeah. It's a list. Yes. I don't know how many, not too many. It's like in the tens or something like that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So for example, thing is 18. I know that. Krit I know is 110 plus. Sup I know is 7 threes are 21. Okay. Stri pratyayas are 6. I'm not for the life of me, I'm not remembering how many, but I remember something in the range of 5 plus to 10 range, something like that. Not too huge. Krit is the big one. See the brilliance. How many dhatus somebody could ask? There are around 2000 dhatus. Why I'm not saying 2102? Because there are different pathas. This language is so ancient that over time, no, different regions have developed certain different pathas. Some dhatus have been, missing from some lists and they are present in another list, etc. So if you take a superset, it is some 2040 something number is there. Okay, so we just say instead of trying to quote a number because there are different patas and we have Shraddha for all the schools, we just say Prayaha Dvisahasra like that, around 2000. Okay. So and then so with this 2000, with this 20, 18, this 20, 21, and this 110 and this tens, something like that. So what we are talking about 2300 elements maybe, and some 2000, 4000 rules, sorry, 4000 rule lines, and with 2500 different base elements, and some other pathas are also there, some other pada pathas are also there. If you take all that, the entire language is standing on as little as few thousand things, few thousand elements. So software guys know this very well. For example, we just have 100 basic processor instructions, and we built an entire castle to run these computers on top of those 100, or may not be 100, I may be taking literally hundreds, okay, hundreds of basic instructions. On top of it, we build castle after castle and come to this whole operating system, and I'm able to talk to you guys and display all this. See how little puny is the small bricks on which this entire thing is standing. Okay, so drops make an ocean applies to Sanskritam language also. So these droplets called dhatus and pratyayas make an ocean called Samskrita. Any other questions? Okay. All right. So you may see, where are the rules? If everything is, the rules are in these arrows. Okay. What is the process to go from krit to pradakrit, from kri to karoti, etc. This is where the Paninian formulae help us. It's a brilliant programming language with object-oriented nature to it. Those of you who have some software background will appreciate what I'm saying. Others, don't worry. Object-oriented nature to it. It has concurrency, parallelism, selective processing. All kinds of brilliant modern-day software techniques are all there within that single program. It's brilliant. Okay. So unfortunately, because if you have to learn through the Paddhati method, you have to start from childhood. That's how the Gurukula started, from childhood. The first thing they would make the child do is remember the Paninian Patha. So Ashtadhyayi will be how do you say Kanta? Something is there. Anyway, will Kantagata we say. So Ashtadhyayi will be there in their tongues by the time they are, ready to walk. So the meaning they don't know, but kids enjoy sounds. So if you make it sing, make them sing all this, they love it, and their memory is enormous and actually develops well if they memorize things at that young age. So they become proficient about knowing what the sutras are without knowing the meaning, maybe much. So then as they become older and older, the meanings are taught to them. Then the bulb turns on in their head. Whoa, whoa, like that. Okay. So that's the process. If we use that process, then you can hope to learn this way. But what happens, because we are all high schoolers or something, when we have started taught Sanskritam, they teach us in a most dumb way. Ramaha Ramo, Ramaha Ramam Ramo. That all should come background later. First, you should show the whole magic or start talking to them with the language. Samskrita Paddhati, Samskrita Bharati Paddhati is that. Start talking the language. That's why a lot of sentences come in the lesson and then the grammar follows. So I am going slightly outside the box because we are all adults. So let us see what is the structure below I am trying to show. Okay. Now this chart is a further manifestation of the previous chart only. So I take a dhatu, kr dhatu, apply a thing, in which case I assign, let us say for Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana 1.1, I add a tip pratyaya. In the tip, p is a technical letter, so I drop it. So I add ti. So some process is there by which kr becomes kar, and then ti will get added, karoti. So this whole Vikarana Pratyaya, a lot of things come into picture. I have not shown all that, but a very basic. Kri plus tip is karoti. Gam plus tip is gachati. Okay. So there is obviously new letters coming into picture. How all that? Where was Makara gone? Where is Chakara coming? So that is all. There are Paninian rules by which these modifications happen. And then, so what are these thing pratyayas? See, tip tas jhi, sip thas tha, mip vasmas, ta atam jha, thas atham dhvam, it vahi mahing. This entire thing, starting the way I read it, no, is actually one word in a Paninian sutra. Tiptas, jhiziptas, tha, mip, vasmas. So the kids would just know the whole list like that by mind. Okay. So That's how the process is. So if I want to go to instead of karoti, you have to come to kurutaha. Then it is kr plus tas. Kurutaha will come. Tas, you see, tas is taha in the end, visarga modification. Okay. Similarly, gam plus tas is gachataha. Gachati, gachataha, gachanti. So gum to gach replacement happens through a Paninian replacement sutra will be there for. And there are also something called Vikarana Pratyaya, because these dhatus belong to a certain gana. There are 10 ganas. These 2000 odd dhatus sit in 10 different groups. Each group has a different intermediate transformative pratyaya added in by default. So you can mentally say it is there as part of the dhatu. Because it is common to so many dhatus, they keep it as a Vikarana Pratyaya, as a separate thing. Okay? And then they add the thing pratyaya. Okay. Very scientific. Then you say pratipadika, so balaka, balika, etc. You add a sup pratyaya. So su is the part of the p is the technical letter. I'm adding the, let us say, saptami vibhakti bahuvachana. Okay. So you see here, that is sup, saptami vibhakti. So the whole thing is called technically sup. The pratyaya that you need to apply 7.3 is this sup, not this whole sup. So I'm adding one of the whole set. So if I wanted Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana, Su. So Ramaha comes with Su Pratyaya. Ramau comes with Au Pratyaya. Ramaha comes with Jas Pratyaya. Again, how Jas became Aha, process is there. Okay. Similarly, Ramam, Ramau, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramaihi. Bhyam is easy to recognize. Okay. So like this it goes. Of course, for Sita also the same set. Sita will take Su and become Sita, Site, Sitaha. Okay. Again, Panini initially uses this and shows the replacement for Akaranta, Stri Pratyayas, etc. So this is the first placeholder. Then there is a replacement element and then there is a transaction. It's brilliant. Just like software. Okay. Namapadam, Balakeshu, Palikasu will come from Saptami Bahuvachana. This Su. Okay. Pullinga will take that path, Strilinga will take this path, etc. And you can go from dhatu with a krit pratyaya. For example, kr with trich pratyaya will come kartru. Gam with trich pratyaya, which is one of the krit pratyayas, becomes gantru. What is this trich pratyaya? What is this trich version of krit pratyaya doing? Krit is the generic name. Trich is one element of krit. Krit is a set of 110 plus pratyayas. Trich is one of those 110. So this trich is also a krit pratyaya. Krit is a common title. Okay. And so when kr is enhanced with trich, we get kartru. So now we switch from dhatu to a pratipadika, the stem of a noun. Kartru is the doer. So to do with trich becomes doer, stem. Go with trich becomes goer. You can see the process. So doer, goer, blower, writer, etc., etc. Pratipadikas for those. Writer won't come out until we apply supratyaya to it. So let us say we wanted to add Prathama Vibhakti Su, then it will become Karta. Kartru will become Karta. Gantru will become Ganta. Okay. Both are actually Rikaranta Pratipadikas. So there is a similar process. Trich generates Rikaranta Pratipadikas. Tr is there. Ch is a technical letter. Whatever is in red is technical letter. So trich iti kartrartakaha kridantaha. So this kridanta makes a dhatu a karta. Kartrartakaha. It transforms into a karta. Beautiful. Yaha karoti saha karta. One who does is a karta. Yaha gacchati saha ganta. Okay. You can take Pratipadika, apply a Stri Pratyaya. For example, a top Pratyaya has been applied. One of the 6 Stri Pratyayas. Balaka with the top becomes Balika. New Pratipadika. Balika with sup, let us say Dvitiya Ekavachana Pratyaya becomes Balikam. Okay. So this is the steps. Very high level. There are intricate sub steps, but here. Okay. So that is the summary of what I wanted to teach you. Why I taught you all that is actually in the next 6th section, vocabulary section, there is a little bit of introduction to dhatus. That's why I wanted to show you all this. Okay. So let us read this. Padasangraha, vocabulary. So here, this is other section we had Shabdavali, something like that, right? That is more about nouns. Here it's about verbs. The roots of verbs are called dhatus, dhatavaha, bahuvachana. Various forms can be derived when suffixes of various kinds are added to these roots. This sentence is so vague, I thought that diagram will help you guys. Okay, that's why I showed you that diagram. This sentence becomes meaningful with the previous diagram we learned and the other flow charts that we learned. Besides thing, suffixes called krit are also added to roots. I showed that also. The forms that are thus derived are called kridanta. So when you add a krit to a dhatu, you generate a kridanta, and that is a pratipadika. In subsequent lesson, we will introduce you to frequently used kridanta forms. It is called participle forms in English. Participles. Okay. So dhatuhu. So what this standard table that almost even in Pravesha you have seen in the accessory section, a lot of these things introduced maybe somewhat. But in this book, definitely in the end, you will see a chapter which lists so many good dhatus with this. Okay, this pat may be still there in that chapter also. So this is a very interesting table because what Samskrita Bharati has done, there are hundreds of forms. We just saw 110 krit pratyayas, so many sub. So, but the idea is what is first at a baby step that we are initially learning, what is important, that has been summarized here. Maybe one can argue a few more could have been given, but it's okay. What is there we will learn. Dhatuhu, path dhatuhu, to read. Okay, pathati. This is lat lakara prathama purusha ekavachana. Ramah pathati. So just only the first top left, that is 1.1 version has been introduced, but we know the table immediately. Pathati, patataha, pathanti, pathasi, patataha, patatha, pathami, patavaha, patamaha. So patati will become patami with aham, patasi with tvam. With Ramaha or Saha, it becomes Patati or Sa Patati, Rama Patati, like this. Linga variation is not there for Kriyapada. Then Pathyate, this is called Karmani version of the same Dhatu. Okay, this is the Kartari version, active voice version of the Kriyapada. This is the passive voice version of the Kriyapada. For example, Ramaha Pustakam Patati. Rama reads a book, direct speech, active voice. Whereas a book is read by Rama is also very straightforward in Sanskritam. In fact, it is more straightforward in Sanskritam than English. Is Ramena Pataha Pathyate. Pustakam Pathyate. Ramena Pustakam Pathyate. Like that. By Rama, the book is read. The lesson is read. Pathyate is called the Karmani. Because instead of Karta's action, it is talking about Karma's action. Because the book is read. Who reads is secondary almost now. The book is read. So the book takes Pratama Vibhakti and the Kriyapada tracks the Karmapada in the Pratama Vibhakti and takes this Yakara to show that it is in Karmani and takes the Atmanepadi ending further to show that it is in Karmani. So Patyate is actually using the same Dhatu plus Ting Pratyaya etc. but using a certain bound, saying you should use Atmanepadi, you should introduce the Karmani Yakara, all those things are there in the process. Okay, so Patyate is generated from the Pat Dhatu. Same flow chart, but a different process. Patishyati, the same flow chart except we switch from Lat Lakara to Bhavishyat Kala. So Patishyati, will read, will come. So again, this declines in its other, there is a set of 9 like that. These are all Tigantas. Pathati, Pathyate, Patishyati. One was Vartamana Kala, one was Karmani Vartamana Kala, and one is Bhavishyat Kala. Apathat also could have been included, but they stopped with 3. Then Patitavyam, Pataniyam. This is called Tavyat and Aniyar Pratyaya. That means should be read. Both actually are aliases. You can use Patitavyam or Pataniyam. It doesn't matter. Okay. So should be read. So Ramena Pustakam Patitavyam. By nature, this is a Karmani. By nature, this is a Karmani. Okay. Ramena Pustakam Patitavyam. Ramena pustakam pataniyam. Like that. Okay. So not only they are Kridanta, there is Karmani generating Kridanta. Okay. Patitaha, and by the way, those three only are Tigantas. All these are Subantas below. Either it may be an Avyaya or it may be a declinable Subanta, proper noun, but it will not be a no more a Tinganta. It will embed a Kriya. Nobody is denying that the Kriya is embedded in them, but it has become a little bit personified in this case. That's why it is a Namapada. So, Pustakam Patitavyam. So, it's personification of the book itself as the one that should be read. Okay. No more it carries Kriya Pada title. So, how do you complete Ramena Pustakam Patitavyam Asti? You have to say Asti, Asit, Bhavishyati. Something you have to add depending on when that activity of Patana should happen. Okay. So that Kriya Pada is implicit. We don't necessarily put it if it is obvious, or we need to put it, especially if it is in the future. Ramena pustakam patitavyam bhavati. Bhavatya nartanam kartavyam bhavati. By you, the dancing should be done. Bhavishyati. On that day. Like that. Okay? Patitaha patita patitam. This is called kta kridanta. Kta. 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 Kta kridanta. This is called Karmani Bhuta Kridanta. You just take it from now, it's a little overload, you will learn it slowly. It's called Karmani Bhuta Kridanta, Pullinga, Strilinga, Napumsakalinga version. Because it's personified, it carries a linga. This is an avyaya, so it doesn't carry a linga. Okay. Actually, sorry, I mistake. This also carries linga. If it is Pustakam Patitavyam, if it is Pataha Patitavyaha, if it is Bhagavad Gita Patitavya, it will become. So this is also having linga. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita Patitavya, Bhagavad Gita Pataniya, Pustakam Patitavyam, Pustakam Pataniyam, Pataha Patitavyaha, Pataha Pataniyaha. Remember, they have only shown the Napumsakalinga. Unfortunately, it is actually all the three lingas should be mentally understood by us. Here they have explicitly shown patitaha, patita, patitam. Again, they have only shown pratama vibhakti ekavachana. It will decline. This is where Sanskrit starts compressing you a little bit. Okay, your brain needs to expand to absorb it. So again, patitaha will go like Ramaha. Patitaha, patitau, patitaha. Like that, it keeps going. Rama, Ramo, Ramaha types. Same way, patita will go like Sita, patitam will go like Phalam. Okay? Same, patitavan, patitavati. Actually, patitavat is there. They have not shown because Napumsakalinga is rarely used. So, patitavan, it's actually also Bhutakala, but it is Kartari Bhutakala, we call it. But Kartari Bhutakrudanta form is this is called Ktavatu. This was Kta, Kta. This is Kta Vatu, Ktavatu. Okay. So when we apply the Ktavatu is a Paninian technical title for that pratyaya. Okay. It embeds the pratyaya, but there are a lot of technical additional letters. So it sounds very strange like Ktavatu to see this one. Ktavatu. So, but actually from that this Van, Vatu, Vat will come. Actually, Vat will come out of it. Everything else is technical. And from the Vat in Pullinga Van version and Strilinga Vati version and in Napumsakalinga Vat version will only come. Okay. Okay. So Patitavan, Patitavati. So what is Patitavan? The fellow who had read. Patitavati, the lady who had read. Patitaha, some masculine thing that was read. Patita, something feminine that was read. Something that was neutral gender word that was read. So Pustakam Patitam. Bhagavad Gita Patita. Pataha Patitaha. That's all. Same way we used linga variation for there here also. Okay. Karmani. See, the object is taking the karta position almost. Sorry, Prathama Vibhakti position to associate with the Kridanta. But this is not a Tinganta in the end. This is a Kridanta. So, Pataha Patitaha Asti or Asit Athava Bhavishyati, something depending on whether it was a past event being quoted, present event that's happening, or a future event. Okay. Then Pathan Pathanti. I'm probably going a little slow, but it's important the first time we see this slowly. Pathan Pathanti. So this is called I don't want to call it present continuous. Unfortunately, in this book, they call it present continuous. It's incorrect. We call it current continuous. Whatever is the tense, active tense of the sentence, based on the tinganta that will come eventually, that at that time, it is continuous with that time. Pathan, pathanti. So, as reading, masculine, as reading, feminine. Okay. How will I use it? Then it will become more clear. Ramaha pustakam pathan upavishati. Rama, as he is reading, he sits. Okay. Rama, while reading, he sits. As he is reading, he sits. So, Ramaha pathan upavishati. Much shorter in Sanskrit to say, because this kridanta is there beautifully. So, pathan is a kind of Shatranta, it's called Shatranta. It is a activation of a first action, but it is not the terminal action, nor it dominates tense. So it is not a Kriya Pada, it's a Namapada. Reading, he sits, Upavishati. Upavishati is current tense. So the tense of Patan is also current tense because Upavishati is in current tense. For example, if I switch around and say Ramaha Patan Agachat, Ramaha, as he was reading, he went. Okay. So the went is a past tense. So Ramaha Patan Agachat. Agachat rules the time, past. So Patan cannot be present continuous. It has to be current continuous. That means past with the time of the gam dhatu, the time of the pat dhatu also falls with it. Okay. Of course, pat dhatu in Patan form. But it's a namapada. Clausal noun. Okay. All right. Patitva, prapatya. These are similarly patanti for Strilinga, patat for Napumsakalinga. We'll leave it. Okay. Patitva, prapatya. So this is tvanta and lyabanta, we call it. Tvanta. These are avyayas. These are actually only having one form. There is no further declension. You are spared from the table of 21 vibhaktis. So just always patitva, prapatya. What is the difference between tvanta and lyabanta? Tvanta is used when the dhatu is pure. There is no upasarga sitting before the dhatu. Pat is pure dhatu. So tvanta. So patitva. E comes due to some prakriya. But tva. So patitva. Having read. So Ramaha pustakam patitva dhavati. Rama reads the book and runs. Okay. I can add more karma pada to dhavati, but I don't want to complicate your life. So Ramaha pustakam patitva this thing griham prati dhavati. He runs towards the house, something like that. Okay. Patitva, having read, because it's pure dhatu tvanta. If there is a upasarga, like pra upasarga is there before the pat dhatu, there are 22 upasargas. So if these upasargas and there are some other upasarga like prefixes, so in that case lyabanta is switched. Prapatya. Okay, you cannot use prapatitva. It's illegal. Prapatitva sounds fine to our ear because it seems fine, but it is a impure, non-Paninian word. Okay. Rather than saying impure, I will say non-Paninian word. Okay. So prapatya is a Paninian word. Having read, same meaning. What is pra bringing to the equation? Pra brings an emphasis to the pat dhatu. Pra means focus. Pra is towards, right? So when we use pra prefix to the pat dhatu, so probably properly, focusedly reading that, something like that. Prapatya. That means not like padabada something. He actually understood and read some meaning like that you can take from pra. Okay. In most cases, patitva is the meaning comes. Okay. Patitva and prapatya, you can call them as equivalents. But in very specific cases, pra can carry a and further arrow to the generic pat. Directionality, further vectorization of a generic force called pat. Patitum, see this is called tumun pratyaya. Tumun pratyaya, tum is the suffix that comes out of it. Patitum, this is also an avyaya. Okay, so avyaya, avyaya, avyaya. Till then we saw linga variations, but here it is avyaya. So patitum, so Ramaha kriditum shalam gachati. Rama goes to the school to play. This is not our Sri Rama. This is our Balakaha Ramaha. So Ramaha kriditum shalam gachati. Rama goes to the school to play. So in order to play kriditum, Shalam gacchati. To the school he goes. Shala is the karma pada for the gam dhatu gacchati. Rama is the common karta. But why he is going? Patitum shalam gacchati. Athava, sorry, kriditum. Ramaha shalam gatva kridati. Another way of saying, having gone to the school, he plays. So gatva, tvanta we use. Completion. Okay. Yes, Anjana?
Mahodaya, two questions.
Huh.
When we patanti, you
Hmm.
said they are not kriya, like verbs,
No,
but noun forms.
they are
So,
noun forms, but they embed the action.
so
Action is not gone. Action has got personified, which is why they take the linga. Patan, patanti, like that. So Ramaha patan upavishati, Sita patanti upavishati. Okay.
so when we are using this form, there will be a proper kriya padam also, right, Mahodaya? In
Yeah,
the sentence.
upavishati. I just used.
Huh.
Yes.
And
Correct.
my second question is patyate, like this
Second
form.
one. Yes.
Second one.
Karmani.
Karmani prayog. They are all in the what is that? They
Atmanepadi ending.
Atmanepadi
Correct.
form.
Correct. Vandate, vandete, vandante, that table.
So any kriya padam can be converted to Atmanepadi form like this?
It is not like any kriya padam. The
For
dhatu in
example,
karmani, all dhatus in karmani take atmanepadi, regardless of their original preference to be parasmaipadi.
ast.
Got it? So the paditva is a malleable property. So the paditva originally dhatu may be atmanepadi by force, dhatu may be parasmaipadi by force, dhatu may be ubhayapadi. Ubhayapadi is not force, it is freedom, right? So ubhayapadi is freedom, both type of paditva. So but if the dhatu, regardless of what its paditva was, if it is taken to karmani, it takes the atmane paditva. After the karmani pratyaya addition, okay, karmani nich addition we call it, it becomes a atmanepadi dhatu and takes the atmanepadi declensions.
Okay. So
Is that
it will
clear?
still be a verb only.
Oh yeah. There is no verbosity is not lost. Patati is very much an active verb. It's a verb. Patyate is a verb. Here this is an active voice verb. This is a passive voice verb. That's all. It's still a verb. It's still a tinganta. That's why tinganta is shown. This tinganta title is for the first three. Maithili, what is your question?
Dhanyawada.
The Subantas and Kridantas are going sort of above my head. It's now I'm not still able to understand this. Sorry.
Don't worry, just listen to this lesson again slowly and then you will get it. I'll be sending the recordings after the class today, both morning session and afternoon session. I'll send the link, upload and send the links. You please follow again. Okay, I can't say much more than that.
Okay, Subantas
Initially
are
it
the
looks
noun
like
forms.
overrode.
Yeah.
But basically know this, in Samskritam there are two types of words, only two types of words, nouns and verbs. Okay. Unfortunately, I didn't use English at the time I taught because I wanted to stick with Sanskritam titles, but know this much. In Sanskritam language, there are nouns and verbs. That's it, two types. Nouns again have variations. There are declinable nouns and indeclinable nouns. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So you keep that in mind. So then know that most of the nouns also are generated from verb stems in Sanskritam. Okay? How do we come to the noun stems from verb roots is through the kritanta process. Okay, when we add a kritanta to a dhatu, we get a noun stem. Okay, like Rama comes from ram dhatu. That much you know. Which pratyaya, all that will not go. Okay, then if you want to take this stem into an actual word, you have to attach a sup pratyaya to it and make it Ramaha, Ramau or Ramaha. Rama itself cannot be used. Only in Sambodhana, same former. Hey Rama, there it is there. Okay. It is supposed to have Sambodhana Pratama Pratyaya and the Pratyaya is actually an elision process. So Rama remains, stem remains. But in, for example, Sita, when she goes to Sambodhana becomes Site, she takes on a different Pratyaya, you see. So not all words, it's only Pratipadika like look. Only for Akara and the Pullinga like that we saw. Okay.
Okay.
That is the krit pratyaya process and sup pratyaya process. And if you attach a ting pratyaya to dhatu, it becomes an action word or a verb. So kr with ting pratyaya becomes karoti.
Think pratyayas are the verbs.
Verb pratyayas, very good. Active verb pratyayas. The
Sup
actual
pratyayas
tinganta.
are generally
Noun.
the proper nouns
Not
and the
generally.
naming
Always they are noun pratyayas.
noun
Sup
pratyayas.
pratyaya is what makes noun. Ting
Okay.
pratyaya is what makes verb.
Verb.
Okay. So tinganta is a alias for verb. Subanta is a alias for noun. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except know that there are some subantas which don't vary. They are called indeclinable. They're
Okay.
supposed to have a sup which is elided. Okay.
Okay.
They have a
Okay.
permanent single representation always in whole life. Like cha,
Okay.
na, he. All those simple ones also are permanent. Some of them are also called nipatas. They're just there. You cannot show cha came from which dhatu and all. You can't show. It is there. Cha is there. Okay, like that. So those are the called nipatas or drop-ins.
Okay. Okay.
Lot of
Astu.
avyayas are nipatas. You can say.
Okay. Okay.
Some avyayas are generated. We just generated. Patitva is a generated avyaya. Patitum is a generated avyaya. We just saw it. Pat dhatu plus tumun becomes patitum.
Okay. Okay. When the pratyas, different pratyas added, again it takes a different form.
Correct. What you do after after I send the recording, go through I will send the chart because all of the extra non-book stuff I can share in slides. Okay. I cannot
Astu.
share anything with book stuff that you have to register and get the book. Okay. So I will send the slides of the flow charts. Okay. No problem.
Astu Mahodaya, dhanyawad.
So let us continue reading this and finish this slide before we conclude for the day. In the forms shown above, the first two are in Kartari active voice and Karmani passive voice respectively. That's what Kartari, Karmani. Same thing what we read, they are saying here. The rule of active voice are given in Pravesha lessons. Study them again. The rules of passive voice will be given in the coming lessons. So this entire level's focus, one grammatical focus is passive voice. So a wonderful world of Sanskritam passive voice you will enter in this level. So if you stay with me and stay up till February to take the exam, you will learn very well. Okay. Don't come back to my class by not taking the exam unless there is something that prevented you from taking exam. Taking exam is the only thing why you will attend classes honestly. In the third form is of future tense. Okay. That patishyati will read. Okay. The forms from the fourth onwards are important participles, kridantani of the dhatu pat. See all this, right? So you can already see so many kridantas at play. 1, 2 variants of that. Tavyat, anir. So 110 plus 2 are cancelled. Kta is cancelled. Ktavatu is cancelled. Shatranta is cancelled. Actually, Shanajanta is not shown. That will come for Atmanepadi dhatus. So Tvanta, Lyabanta, Tumunanta. So many we covered. Maybe 10 we covered. I don't know. I didn't count. But so you see, it's that's why 110. Already, even at the basic level, important 10, 12 are being taught to us. Okay? So this is the flowchart that we already saw. Nothing new here. So except maybe I showed bahuvachana, kritavantaha, kritavantaha, gatavantaha, like that. So ktavatu kartari bhuta kridanta yaha karyam akarot saha kritavan te kritavantaha yaha agachat saha gatavan. One who went, he is the fellow who went. Gatavan's full translation English is fellow who went. Kritavan's full translation English is the fellow who did. So whosoever the work he did, he is the fellow who did the work. The whole meaning of fellow who did the work is hidden in Kritavan. How brilliant is this Kritanta technique? I don't need to say all this almost. Kritavan is enough to say all that. The one who did the work. Okay. And if it is many of them, Kritavantaha, the fellows who did the work, the fellow who went, the fellows who went, Gatavan, Gatavantaha. Okay. So every kridanta is actually a English phrase in English or a phrase in English language. A phrase, not a phrase is not a correct word. a mess of words, part of words of a sentence in English language. How do you say a fellow who went in one word in English? Nothing. Went person. Closest I can come to. Went
But
fellow.
in Sanskrit, it's Gatavan.
Ah, that's a brilliance. See, in Kannada also it is there. Hoguttare, hodavanu, hodavalu. Hodavanu is kritavan. Sorry, gatavan. Madidavanu kritavan. See, it's there in Dravida Bhasha very much. I'm using Kannada as an example. It will be there in Telugu, all other Dravida Bhasha. And how do you do it in Hindi? I don't know, because Hindi has got little diced away from Sanskrit philosophy. Amazingly, Kannada Bhasha sounds much closer to Sanskritam than Hindi does. I don't know of a word for kritavan in Hindi. I know, for example, jo kya wo. Almost like English we have to say. How do you say jo kya wo in one word in Hindi? Anybody knows here? No. Padma Nagesh actually comes from Delhi.
Looks like it's not there because Hindi has a lot of Urdu mix also.
Exactly.
Only Tamil it is there, Mahodaya.
Exactly. See, that's what has happened. Hindi, in the old Hindi Bhasha, if we walk backwards, it would resemble a Dravida Bhasha closer. So it will resemble Samskritam closer. Samskritam grammar and Dravida grammar are 95% mapping. Because we find these kritantas in our language. We unfortunately lost the grammatical sense of them. We use in a simple way, hodavanu, bandavanu, like that. But it's there. So we can also do, for example, kritavan can decline to other vibhakti. Same way in Kannada, I can decline it. Hodavaninda, hodavanige, hodavanagi. Like this I can add, right?
Kritavan, Kritavantav, Kritavantaha.
Same all thing I can do in Kannada. Except it is not so precise. It's a little bit, each region will slightly differently pronounce it with a different way. That's all. Okay. Okay, so we will stop here. I think, what else is there? Okay, quite a bit is there, so I won't go on. So next class, we will learn the rest of it and we'll go a little faster onwards. So tomorrow morning is our next class, 11 o'clock. We have the morning class on Sunday, but not the afternoon class. That's why we shifted it to today. I am highly thankful to so many of you who attended, made time and attended today. I appreciate that. So please do continue attending like this in good numbers. Tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, we'll continue our learning. Thank you very much. I will share the recording links. I didn't share in between the morning and afternoon session, but I will share now both the lessons. Okay? See you all. I will post the screenshots of what was requested. Not a problem.
Mahodaya, धन्यवादः महोदय.
Namaste.
राम राम.
Dhanyawad.
Namaste.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದः ಮಹೋದಯ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದः ಭಗಿನಿ.